All right, so we're in here. This is Trump and the global economy, Trump and the G for short, and I'm the Shock Exchange, as you know. And this is Rand Paul seeks constitutional amendment to birthright citizenship. The world seems like it's topsy-turvy right now. A lot of things going on, particularly with the U.S. Supreme Court. I think the whole country is finding out what the Supreme Court's cases are. They're testing everything we learned in civics class between the different executive branches, the president, Congress, and the U.S. Supreme Court, or the House of Representatives and the U.S. Supreme Court. So they're testing everything we ever learned in civics. So, and they're flexing their muscles all through all branches of government, are showing what they can do and what they're capable of doing, what they have the power to do. And it's like some of these cases could shape the law and shape the country for years to come. U.S. Supreme Court just ruled on certain sections of the 1965 Voting Rights Act and repealed some measures of that act that could hurt black representation in Congress. And now, as you all know, President Trump is challenging birthright citizenship. He's on record that the birthright citizenship section of the 14th Amendment was really to give citizenship to the children of slaves and former slaves. And it's been expanded to include anybody born to the United States. And he's saying it's not what the amendment was, the 14th Amendment was meant to uphold. And it's unlike any other country in the world. Very few countries have a situation where you can come here illegally and have a child, and your child immediately becomes a citizen. I think the question is, in the legal language, under the jurisdiction of. That's the language everybody's looking at. Are you under the jurisdiction of the United States? If your parents come here illegally, they're not under the jurisdiction of the United States, but if they have a child here, that child under the jurisdiction of the United States. That's the question. I think the Supreme Court has interpreted that to mean that any child born here is a U.S. citizen. And they're looking at the case now, and they're going to rule on it shortly. I'm not sure how it's going to end up. But they, in the past, interpreted it as you're a U.S. citizen. I'm not sure why they would change it now. So anyway, Rand Paul of Kentucky has just recommended a constitutional amendment to birthright citizenship to make it clear what birthright citizenship means and what under the jurisdiction of the U.S. means. So here goes. I'm going to try to share my screen. So I'm looking at his a tweet from Rand Paul. He put up a what you call like a joint resolution. He says here in the tweet, he says, "I'm introducing a constitutional amendment to end birthright citizenship. Under current interpretations of American law, which is being interpreted by the U.S. Supreme Court, anyone born on American soil automatically becomes a U.S. citizen, regardless of whether the parent was here legally or not. This is wrong and not at all the intent of those who wrote the 14th Amendment. We're a country filled with immigrants, and legal immigration is valuable and should be protected. But we are also a country whose borders have been too open and our generosity exploited too often. President Trump has moved to seal our border from illegal immigrants more than any other president. But we will have more to do. We need to make sure that only children born to legal residents of the U.S. are automatically citizens. I have supported protecting birthright citizenship from abuse since the beginning of my tenure in the Senate when I co-sponsored the Birthright Citizenship Act of 2011. And now I'm proposing an amendment to protect U.S. citizenship in case the U.S. Supreme Court fails to address this issue correctly." So I don't think the media's picked up on this, that he's recommending a constitutional amendment to make it clear what birthright citizenship means, and that is not to include anyone born to the United States to illegal immigrants. So this will be interesting, where he clearly defines what birthright citizenship is and what under the jurisdiction of the United States is. So depends on whether Congress will go for it. And it looks like this is going to be the next battleground for Congress. And it's been an issue being bannered back and forth between the different parties, where Trump put up a wall his first term. We didn't know what a wall looked like. He did it. and he said we're gonna have secure borders. And Joe Biden, the next president after Trump left office, seemed to have one open borders, and that immigrants come here, and people are saying that he's basically bringing people here to help to so they could vote for the Democrats. Now Trump is trying to undo what Biden did, so we're going back and forth. And now Senator Rand Paul recommending a constitutional amendment. So this seems the next battleground, and I'm interested to see what the communists think about it. But that's Trump and the GE. That's Rand Paul seeks constitutional amendment to birthright citizenship. Thank you.